My greetings to all the audience who have tuned in today to this video lecture. Today's lecture is about public relations, ethics and laws. If you are a student at IGNOU and you are pursuing your MAJMC or PGJMC, this is your Unit 14 of the course on media ethics and laws, which is the MJM025 course. And if you are a journal public, a citizen of India, and you've stumbled upon this video, I ensure you will not be disappointed with the concepts that we discussed today. It will be useful for you to understand what are the ethics codes or laws that govern the public relations professionals in our country. Let me take you through the structure of the unit, which is how we put our IGNOU study material, then the introduction, learning outcomes, then we shall come on to discuss the major concepts of the PR ethics and laws. Friends, this video is a supplement to the study material that you have been provided as an IGNOU learner. So in your study material, how this unit is divided, unit number 14, its structure is like all the other units. There is an introduction. Then there are learning outcomes. The major sections include the relevance of ethics in PR, ethics of business, ethics in multinational corporations, PR acting as a front line organization, philosophical traditions, professional codes, and ethics in PR. Then we shall go on to the section in which we shall discuss laws concerning the profession of public relations, brief about the law of defamation, invasions of privacy, the intellectual property rights. And with this, we shall summarize the contents of the unit. There will be a list for further readings if you want to enhance your knowledge more in the field, and then the answers to the check your progress questions that you will come across while you read this material. Friends, this is unit number 14, and I am taking the bar a little higher. We have gone through 13 units of MGM 025, where we have looked at the concepts, the theories, the applications, and I am discussing these concepts with you in this video. Now, let us do this in a different manner in this lecture. I presume you have already read the study material, and here I will ask you to ponder over certain things. I will encourage you to research, discuss, think. Be curious learners. So I'll not give you the concepts exactly. I'll briefly touch upon a concept and then I will give you certain food for thought where I expect you to go out in the world, observe and form your own judgments and understanding. Because ethics, codes, laws are ever changing with the evolving society. And our task is not to serve you on a platter what is there, but to encourage you to become thinking human beings. If your mind evolves with the evolving society, then the country is in good hands. You are the future. You will be the public relation professionals. You will be the law enforcers, the people who would put on requests for amendments in the constitution. You would form new ethical standards. You will be forming the regulatory bodies like the public relation organizations, the Indian Public Relations Society. You are the ones there. So, the unit structure I've told you, I'll introduce you to the concepts, the learning outcomes, and then we will flow towards the pondering thoughts. This unit will be a little different. I'll wait for your feedbacks as to how you felt that this style of teaching was useful for you, or should we restore to the traditional style of dealing with the definitions, concepts, and theories. To introduce you to the concepts, in the previous unit, we have read about and we listened to the advertising ethics and laws, in which it was explained that every profession operates within a certain legal framework and is guided by self-regulatory practices in the forms of codes of ethics. Taking this discussion further, in this unit we shall describe the importance of ethics in public relations, businesses and corporate functioning. Professional code of conduct, which is propounded by professional associations, will be dealt with, which could be the referral point of the practice of the profession. So if you're planning to undergo certain training and if you are wanting to be a PR professional, what would be the guiding proponents to you? As the learning outcomes, what are the objectives of this unit? After you've gone through this unit, you can expect to be able to discuss the relevance of ethics in PR, to be able to explain the importance of ethics in business corporate functioning, to describe the laws relevant to the practice of PR in India and also to analyze the professional bodies and their codes of conduct that they give out for the PR professionals. With the introduction, the structure, the learning outcomes, let us come to the basic concepts of this unit. I would want to start with the relevance of ethics in PR. In the previous units, we looked at the relevance of ethics in the society as citizens. How do ethics apply to us? Why do we need to take care of them? Then we moved on to the journalistic ethics as reporters, editors, as journalists in the field. Why should you be ethical? Then the advertising profession, and now the relevance of ethics in PR. I think you would all agree to this. As PR professionals, we should be bound by certain journal common ethical proponents. The concepts of telling the truth. You should be able to prove with your action whatever you write in your press release or you say in your press conferences. You should tell the truth. You should be able to prove it with the action. Should be able to listen to the consumer, as in take the feedback and manage your activities for tomorrow. Conduct public relations as if the whole company depends on your act of the PR. You should remain calm, patient, and good-humored. So to sum up, tell, prove, listen, manage, conduct, and remain ethical while you are in the profession of public relations. The ethics of business. There is a business, there is a company, there is a corporation, there is an organization, there is a celebrity. You are managing the PR of that organization, person, whosoever. The ethics of the business are that a company is known for its standing and good actions. Any company, any human being, any individual, of course, is known by what they are doing, the conduct, the footprints they are leaving. So your PR should be to give this standing and the good actions a public face. Let us come to the specific ethics of business. Let me not tell you what the ethics of business are. Broadly, I told you the ethics of business are that you should be known by your standing, by your good deeds. Let me take you to certain examples where these ethics were violated. And with these examples, you would be able to see what are the basic ethics that you should take care of. The first example I would like to give you is of the Satyam Computers fraud case, in which the company was charged with manipulating the balance sheets by illegal means. Friends, I'm just giving you a bait for thought. I'm just giving you a bait, and I encourage you to go and research about it. Read about it. What was the Satyam Computers case? And think about it, how there was bad PR, how a good PR could have managed this crisis. Another example is of the Sahara scam, in which Sahara Group was accused of failing to refund over 20,000 crores to its millions of small investors, which it collected through two unutilized companies of Sahara. Read about it, think about it, write to me about it. The Saradha Group, which ran a chit fund in West Bengal, had collected around 200 to 300 billions from investors with a promise of high returns for their investments. However, they couldn't do this. They ran away with that money. This was another case. So the examples of violating ethics and how through PR these companies were able to get these many investments is what will tell you where to remain ethical. Another case is in September 2015, the Environmental Protection Agency of the USA found that many Volkswagen cars being sold in America had a default device or a software. In diesel engines, this could detect when they were being tested, changing the performance accordingly to improve results. So the testing was being tampered with. Now, are these cases of PR ethics? Of course they are. Therefore, they are being told to you in today's lecture. Go ahead, read about them, and I would wait for your feedbacks, for your emails, for your letters. What did you find about these cases as a PR professional? Now, let's come to the ethics of multinational corporation. Today, with the Industrial Revolution, which started long back, now we have the new media, we have all the PR being done through the new media, a lot of followers, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter or X, Facebook, all these social media platforms is engaging in new media public relations. Now, where do the multinational corporations come into with this ethical concern? Multinational companies have moved their production base to cheaper economies like India, Bangladesh, China, where low cost production has benefited both the company as well as the consumers alike. Now, you can produce in low cost, you can sell in low cost. But when you move to these economies, you are governed with the laws of these economies. You must take care of the sensitivities of the people living in these countries, which are different from your parent country. There is where the PR comes into being. When you're dealing with production, we're dealing with publics in a new environment. Increasing profitability has propelled the employees of these big corporations to demand equal wages and have a say in the company matters, and therefore cordial functioning environment is necessary. Thus, the companies are forced to follow high ethical standards. These ethical standards are, of course, in the functioning and they're also in public dealing. How do you deal with your investors, with your consumers? The internal and the external PR has to be ethically managed. Recent example of Nestle Maggie. There was a crisis case in point where Nestle found it difficult to tackle the Indian food regulatory bodies. Now, Nestle is not an Indian company, but a lot of production and selling is happening in India. It is a very major food production company, be it chocolates, the noodles, the health drinks, the child or the baby foods. Nestle is all over in India. Now, when it had to deal with the regulatory bodies on the issues of alleged lead content in Maggi noodles, the matter had to be resolved in the court. Now, good PR and understanding the regulations and the laws of the country where you're operating is useful to deal with such crises. So, production base, employees, organizational environment, the government regulations, all of them can be dealt with good PR, lobbying, and nice crisis management strategies. PR also acts as a front organization. One of the most controversial aspects of PR profession is the creation of a front organization. What do you mean by a front organization? That is an organization that rationales or that has the rationale to represent one agenda while in reality it serves some other party or interest whose sponsorship is either hidden or never mentioned. So you would say, oh, I am doing something for the public good, but actually you are representing your own company. So on the front, on the face of it, you are dealing with the public, but you are actually wanting to promote your company there. So lobbying agents do this. Now, lobbying is not a legal profession in India. In many of the countries of the world, it is. It is a branch out of public relations. So when PR acts as a front organization, as is a hidden face in garb of something else, that is a criticism that PR often gets. Friends, let us think, let us research where lobbying made things happen in parliaments of certain countries. Here also you have lobbyists, but not as a known profession. So I would encourage you to think, to research, to ponder, to discuss on these issues. One thinking food that I will give you is the case of Hill and Knowlton and the tobacco crisis. Now, Hill and Knowlton is world's renowned PR firm. It has been involved with the tobacco industry since 1950s, and its activities constitute one of the first and most successful examples of crisis management. And no, I am not giving you that example. I'm not giving away the whole case. You have to go and find it out. Please find out what was the Hill and Knowlton case with the tobacco companies. How did they bring it to the foray? How did they deal with the crisis? What was actually the crisis? And when you're thinking, when you're on this game, when you're reading this unit, the case is given in that unit in your IGNOU material also. You can read it from there, or you can go to the library or the internet to find out about the Hill and Knowlton case. While you are at it, you can also check your progress. There is a check your progress exercise in your unit. Why adherence to codes is difficult for organizations? What is the role of a front organization as a PR kind of a function? So think of it, write the answers here. Of course, you will find all these answers in the end of check your progress possible answers in the end of the unit. Now let me come to the ethics. What were the philosophical traditions with ethics. What were the concepts of ethics philosophically where the PR profession is concerned? There is a concept of comparative ethics, which is also known as a descriptive ethics, where the concept is that you compare the ways with the means, the ends with the methods, what you are doing and what the result will be. So we've discussed these concepts in the very first unit also. Another concept is of normative ethics, which involves arriving at moral standards that regulate the right and the wrong conduct. Now, going by the philosophical traditions of definitions of ethics, we have Aristotelianism concept. This is actually the tradition of philosophy that takes its definition inspired by the works of Aristotle. So, Aristotle spoke of the ethos, the logos, what is ethical, what is not. Go and read about it. As I said, I am not telling you what it is. I'm only telling you where to ponder over and think over. There is another very famous concept that PR ethical practitioners swear by. This is Kantian morality. Now, this is according to Immanuel Kant. There are universally recognized virtues which every individual should uphold. Now, these virtues also apply to the PR professionals. Then there is a concept of utilitarianism, that is the philosophical approach that emphasizes on the consequences of any action, and constructivism, which is based on the philosophy of Jean-Jacques Rousseau and emphasizes on the individual's rights and obligations. Friends, the comparative, descriptive, normative, Aristotelianism, Kantian moralities, utilitarianism, conceptualism, all this, please go and read about it, form examples, and see how they are being applied to the society around you while you are doing advertising or PR professions. Now, the professional codes of ethics. Like we discussed the advertising code of ethics, there are also professional codes of ethics that are given by certain bodies to uphold the standards in public relations. What is the purpose of these professional codes? To encourage free circulation of information. The purpose is also to deserve the confidence of all those who one comes in contact with. If you're ethical in your practices, of course, people would have confidence on what you say, you write, or you propagate. There is also the need of the professional code of ethics to demonstrate exemplary conduct in public-private behavior, to respect and uphold the dignity of the human person, and also to recognize the right of all the parties involved to explain the point of view. To be able to do this, you do need the professional bodies enacting the professional code of conducts. And of course, there are Press-Ki, PRAI, PRASA, the Indian Press Public Relations organizations, the Public Relations Society of India, all these have given certain code of conducts. Now, according to these professional code of conducts, what is totally unacceptable is here on your screens to see. It is unacceptable to subordinate truth to any other considerations. So truth remains primary. It is unacceptable to disseminate information which is not factually correct. You as a PR professional should not lend assistance to any enterprise which might harm the morality, honesty, dignity of the human race. And you should not use such words that make receivers act irrationally. So while you exercise the power of a PR professional, while you have immensely good relationships with your internal and external publics, while you have the lobbying with the state and the government, you should not engage in these kind of practices as said by the professional code of ethics. Now let me come to the next section of this unit, which is the role of the professional organizations. Professional organizations like the Public Relations Society of America or the Public Relations Society of India and the International Association of Business Communicators have contributed a lot towards the development of standards of ethics for practice of public relations profession. If it was not for these organizations, I think we would be haywire with our ethical and moral conduct in the profession. PRSA is the largest public relations organization of the world, which is the Public Relations Society of America. These codes of ethics that PRSA has provided actually provide for the fundamental beliefs that guide our behavior and decision making process, and they set the industry standards for the professional practice of public relations. Now, of course, you would ask me, oh, is it so? PRSA has given us such huge ethical codes of conduct. Please tell me some of these. So, for you, I have brought out PRSA member statement of professional values, certain excerpts from the member statement. So, I'm quoting for the member statement of PRSA. We serve the public interest by acting as responsible advocates for those we represent. This is one of the tenets of that code. We provide a voice to the market, place of ideas, facts, and viewpoints to aid informed public debates. We adhere to the highest standards of accuracy and truth in advancing the interests of those we represent and in communicating with the public that we interact with. PISA member statement of professional values also says we acquire and responsibly use specialized knowledge and experience. Now, this is important. As a PR professional, of course, you will have certain specialized knowledge. You should use it responsibly. This is one of the codes that it gives. How do you do that? We advance the profession through continued professional development, research, and education. Now, with this research comes in certain specialized knowledge that you must use for the public good. We build mutual understanding, credibility, and relationships among wide array of individuals, institutions, and audience. Another tenet given by PRSA member statement of professional values is we provide objective counsel to those we represent. We are accountable to our actions. We are faithful to those we represent while honoring our obligation to serve the public interest. And we deal fairly with clients, employees, competitors, peers, vendors, media, and the general public. We respect all opinions and support the right to free expression. So, friends, when you become a PR professional, when you join a PR agency, these are the codes of ethics that you kind of take a mental oath on, that you swear by to abide by. Now, after these codes, of course, we come to certain laws. Briefly, I'll discuss 3 laws that you should be aware of as a professional of public relations. While there are no specific laws to govern the profession of PR in India, in particular, the laws concerning the profession of journalism and mass media, by and large, are also applicable to the PR practice. Some of these laws have been discussed in the previous units that we have gone through. Hence, we shall just look at them from the perspective of PR. Now, as the profession of PR requires an immense amount of writing for stakeholders, it is prudent for the petitioners to have a thorough knowledge and understanding about the application of some of the laws, because you'll be writing a lot of press releases or press briefings or giving out the news pieces, a lot of blog posts, you'll be making videos. So it would help if you understand basically 3 of these laws. The law of defamation. We have dealt with the law of defamation in our units that pertain to the journalistic laws. So I'll just give you the basic 2-3 concepts that you should be aware of as a PR professional. Libel. Any false statement about a person printed or broadcast and which brings upon the person hatred, contempt, or inflicts mental torture or has an adverse impact on his or her occupation or the business constitution is libel or libel, some people call it. The pronunciations can differ. Now there is slander. Slander is very much like libel or libel, except that it is verbal or spoken. So libel is written, and if you defame someone by a verbal comment, then it would amount to a slander. Now, defamation of corporation. Reputation of a human being differs from that of a company or a body of persons. So when you're dealing with organizations or corporations, then also it can amount to defamation of a corporation. There is a difference between the civil and criminal laws concerning defamation. While the objectives of the civil action is to adequately compensate the person who is defamed, the purpose of the criminal prosecution is to punish the offender by ways of imprisonment or fine or both. So what is the law of defamation? We've done. But as a PR professional, you should actually, think of at the back of your mind while you are writing certain things of libel, slander, defamations, criminal and civil proceedings. You should just be aware of it. Another very important thing that you should be aware of is the invasion of privacy. Invasion or intrusion of a person's private affairs, where disclosure of personal facts proven to be embarrassing to the person, or intrusion or invasion is without the permission of the person, then it comes under the laws on invasion of privacy. So while you're making your PR, maybe you are a PR manager of a cricketer or a film star, how much of their personal private information should go out remains your prerogative. Can it be embarrassing? Can it be violating to the ethical standards of decency, morality? This should be your concern, and there should be consent in giving out all that information. Another important law that you should be bothered about is the intellectual property rights, which concerns, of course, we've discussed the IPR laws in the earlier units. So you should be concerned about the patents, the insignias, trademarks, geographical indicators. Now, what is a patent? It is an exclusive right granted for an invention. A trademark is a sign capable of distinguishing the goods or services of one enterprise from those of other enterprises. Industrial designs, they constitute the ornamental or aesthetic aspect of that article. Geographical indications and the appellations of origin are signs that are used on the goods that have any specific geographical origin or possess qualities or reputation of characteristics that are essentially attributed to the place of the origin. So all these come under the IPR laws. We have dealt with these laws, but all these you should be careful about while you are doing the PR of your company. So friends, please think of these, please read about these, and you will have good understanding of how you should ethically conduct yourself in the profession of the PR. With this, let me summarize the content of this unit. To sum up, I would say that the success of public relations industry and the credibility of a PR professional largely depends on the conduct of the industry as a whole and the individuals specifically. The PR industry as well as the individuals in PR professional cannot avoid the issues of ethics, which is central to the operation and is actually essential to the very survival of this profession. In this unit, we have broadly discussed the needs of these ethics in public relations, the ethical issues guiding the PR professionals and the PR industry, what constitutes business ethics, how ethical standards become important for multinational companies when they venture into different regions and countries, and of course, I told you about certain laws that you should be bothered about. I gave you certain cases that you should be reading about. So go ahead, read your study material, go to the library, search the internet, discuss with your friends, ponder, think, write the blogs, send us the mails. Be good PR professionals. I wish you an ethical professional practice and a happy learning. So friends, again to reinstate the points that I've been making, read, think, research, and find answers. This is what will lead you to curiosity and govern your moralities. This will make you good PR professionals. So happy learning, happy practicing. Thank you so much.